welcome students. Today we are going to start new chapter of accountancy, that is chapter number 4, that is journal. Now in the chapter number 2 already we have studied the dual effect of any of the transaction, and there were 3 types of accounts, the rules of debit and credit of each and every type of account that we had studied in chapter number 2. Based on that chapter, we'll be passing the journal entries in the journal book. Now what is journal book? First of all, let us understand that. As you can see on the board, a journal book is a fundamental book of double entry system. Already we discussed that we are going to follow the double entry system in which there will be dual effect of any of the transaction. One effect that would be debit and another that would be credit. So it is the fundamental or the basic book or the original book. Okay. English word journal is originally of Latin language. It means the word journal, that is basically an English word. Basically it has been derived from the Latin language. Okay. Journal book is known as the book of original entries. It is the first book of accounts. It means after getting the vouchers, whenever you are purchasing or selling the goods, at that time you insist for the vouchers, or you give the vouchers at the time of selling of the goods, receipt, right? So that voucher is a proof, and you record or you file up all those vouchers in a particular file according to dates, and from that vouchers only we are writing these journal entries. Okay, so first book from writing the entries from the voucher, that is the journal book. Okay, so this is a very important book. It is called the first book or the original book of accounts. Okay, now what are the characteristics of journal book? The first characteristic, that is, it is the original book because it is the first step. It is a very important chapter because it is the first step towards the practical entries of the transactions. So it is the original book. From this journal entries only we have to do the posting in the related ledger book, and then afterwards from it we'll decide they will transfer it or will post it in the trial balance. We'll decide the debit balance or credit balance, and then afterwards we'll place it in the trial balance, and from the basis of trial balance only we are preparing the balance sheet. So all the other transactions or all the other books are prepared from the journal entry. So it is a very important or original book. Okay. Second one, that is dual effect. In the format I'll explain you the specimen of journal entries or the specimen of journal book. There will be dual effect. One column that would be of debit and the other column that would be of credit. So there will be dual effect in case of journal book. And the third one, that is 2 columns for amount. One column that would be for writing debit amount and the other column that would be for writing credit amount. Okay. Now fourth one, that is order of date. This is very important. In case of journal book, whatever the transactions on daily basis we are recording, so on the chronological order of dates, all the transactions will be recorded. So order of date is being mentioned. According to the date you can verify that particular transaction in the journal book. Then afterwards, last one, that is narration. Now that is very important. In case of journal entries, after writing each and every journal entry, you have to write the narration of that particular transaction in short, in one line. And always that narration will start with the word being, B-E-I-N-G. It means always the narration should be short. It should be within one line, and after each and every transaction you have to give the narration of that particular transaction starting with the word being. Okay, so now let us understand the specimen of journal book. As you can see, I have directly shown the calculation, or I have directly started with the sum, but together with the sum you will be able to understand the specimen also. Okay, so you can see date, first column would be always of date. Okay, then after second, that would be particulars in which you will be writing the transaction. What type of transaction, what would be the debit effect, which account will be debited and which account would be credited. That details you will be writing in the column of particulars. Next one, that is LF number. Now what is LF? The full form of LF, that is ledger folio number. Now ledger folio number, it means whenever you are posting the transactions from the journal book in the ledger book, whenever you are posting the transactions from the journal book to the next, you will be studying the next chapter, that is ledger book. Whenever you are posting the transactions in the ledger book from the journal book, you will be writing the date, you will be writing the page number over here. So at the time of you want to verify that particular transaction, then you don't need to refer the entire ledger book, but easily by the page number you can identify that on which page number the particular transaction from the ledger book has been posted in the ledger book. Okay, so easily with the help of that page number, that is called ledger folio number, it means the page number of ledger book where this transaction will be posted in the ledger book. Okay, and then afterwards debit and credit. One thing, make it clear, whatever amount you are going to debit, same amount you will be crediting. It means the amount of debit and credit should always be equal. Okay, see, you can see in the all the transactions, all same amount I have debited and same amount has been credited, and always the total of debit and credit that would come equal. Okay, so these were the important points in the specimen of journal book. Now, after understanding the meaning, characteristics and the specimen of journal book, we'll be starting with the practical sums of it, that is on page number, exercise sums that will be starting, and that is on page number 102 of your textbook. That is question number 6 that we are going to start with. Okay, that is transactions for, question number 5th that we are going to start with. From the following transactions, write journal in the books of Pranjal. Now, how to give the heading? So, you have to write in the heading, that is journal of Pranjal. Whenever you are starting to write the journal entries in the books of any particular owner of the business, then you have to write the name of that owner, that is journal of Pranjal. Okay, and already I have taught the specimen that you have to make over here, that is date, particulars, LF number, debit and credit. Okay, now how to write the journal entries, we'll verify, we'll read one transactions and do the journal entries in the journal book. Okay, first entry, that is introduced rupees 10,000 cash and commenced business. How much cash has been introduced? That is 10,000 rupees cash and commenced business. Already in second chapter we have understood that whenever the cash comes in, so as per the rule of real account, debit what comes in, so cash account that will be debited, and capital will always have a credit balance because owner is the giver of that much amount of capital in the business. So capital account will be credited. Okay, so you can see the first journal entry that I have written, cash account debit to capital account credit, that is same amount 10,000 and 10,000. Now students, over here you will have the question that I have written cash account debit. Debit short form it would come DR. Always the short form of debit that would be written DR, and short form of credit that would be written CR. But over here only I have written DR, but I have not written CR because it is as per the rules of accounting. The journal entry format would be written like this way only. Always we have to write DR, but we cannot write CR. Okay, and you cannot write cash account debit to capital like this way. You cannot write to capital from here only. You have to leave some space and then afterwards you have to write the credit entry. Okay, so again revising, cash account debit, always the word DR has to be written. See, you can see in each and every transaction I have written DR, but I have not written CR, that is credit. Okay, and to capital, it means whatever the credit transaction that I will be writing after leaving some space. You can see each and every transaction to I have written not after leaving some space. I have not written in the line of the debit effect. Okay, so this is the format to write the journal entries, and you have to follow this format. Okay, so the first entry that would come cash account debit to capital account credit, that is with the same amount, that is 10,000 and 10,000. Okay, now I told that after each and every journal entry you have to write the narration. So you can see in the short form in bracket you have to denote after the transaction or after the journal entry, that is being business started or being business commenced. You can write in short form in your own words. There is no any perfect criteria or perfect words in which way you have to write. But one thing, make it sure that narration should always be started with the word being. Okay, and it should be denoted in bracket. Next transaction, let us read second one, that is goods of rupees 5,000 purchased on cash. Goods are purchased on cash. So it is clearly mentioned that it is a cash transaction. Now what would be the journal entry for it? Whenever the goods comes in, so purchase account that will be debited. Okay, so purchase account debit to cash account credit, because that much amount of cash goes out. So credit what goes out as per the rules of real account. Okay, and goods comes in as per the rule of real account, debit what comes in. So your goods are coming in the firm, in the business. Okay, so purchase account debit 5,000 to cash account credit, that is 5,000. In bracket I have written the narration, being goods purchased for cash. In short, in one line you have to write the narration. Okay, third transaction, goods of rupees 8,000 purchased on credit from Rajan. Now here also clearly it is mentioned that goods are purchased on credit, and name of the person from whom the goods has been purchased is also mentioned. Okay, so what would be the entry? That is purchase account debit, whether it's cash or credit transaction, goods are coming in the business. So any kind of goods or assets, whenever it comes in business, then as per the rule of real account, debit what comes in. Okay, so purchase account debit, that is 8,000 to Rajan's account credit, that would be 8,000, because it is a credit transaction. So if it is a credit transaction, name of the customer would come in credit effect. So to Rajan's account credit, that is 8,000, because in future we have to collect that much amount from Rajan. Okay, sorry, we have to pay that much amount to Rajan because we have purchased the goods from Rajan. Okay. Then afterwards, fourth transaction, goods of rupees 2,000 given for donation. Now we have given the goods for donation. Whenever any kind of donation or advertisement expense or goods are destroyed by fire, in any of the case when goods goes out other than we have sold, here we are giving in donation, we have not sold the goods. In return of donation, we are not getting any kind of money or any kind of income in return of the donation. Okay, so always the purchase account that will be credited. Mind well, whenever the goods goes out in any other way other than we are selling the goods, here we are not selling the goods, but even though the goods goes out because of donation. Okay, so you can see the entry that I have written, donation account debit, because donation is one kind of expense. As per the rule of the third account, that is nominal account, we have understood that is debit all expenses and losses. So over here donation account that will be debited by rupees 2,000 to purchase account credit, that is rupees 2,000. Because of donation, that much amount of stock of goods will be reduced from the business. So purchase basically is having a debit balance. If that much amount of stock is to be reduced, so opposite effect of debit, that would be credit. Okay, so here I have done credit effect, that is to purchase account credit. Again I am revising, if the goods goes out in any other way, we have not sold the goods, but goods are destroyed by fire, goods are given as charity or donation, or goods given as advertisement, for advertisement purpose as samples, then any of the way always purchase account will be credited. Okay, so that thing you have to remember. Now after completing fourth transaction, let us move on to fifth one. Given order to Shivani to dispatch goods of rupees 3,000. We have given order to Shivani to dispatch the goods. Still we have just given the order, but still that order has not been implemented. Okay, it means Shivani has not dispatched the goods. We have just given the order. Still the goods has not been dispatched by Shivani to us. So till the goods have just been ordered, it doesn't become an economic transaction. So it is a non-economic transaction. You can see I have written non-economic transaction. Already we have discussed in the previous chapters that any kind of non-economic transactions will never be recorded in the books of accounts. So in journal entries, no any journal entry would be there of this transaction. Next one. Sixth one, Shivani has dispatched the goods as per order. Now, as per the order on sixth transaction, it is given that Shivani has dispatched the goods. So now it becomes an economic transaction. Previously, just an order was placed. Actually, the goods were not delivered by Shivani, right? So now it becomes an economic transaction. So it becomes an economic transaction. That's why journal entry would be recorded of this transaction. You can see what I have written. Purchase account debit to Shivani's account credit by rupees 3,000. Shivani has dispatched the goods. So ultimately we have purchased the goods from Shivani. So purchase account will be debited. Goods comes in. So debit what comes in. Okay, so purchase account debit by rupees 3000 to Shivani's account credit, that is 3000, because here it is not a cash transaction. Shivani is the giver of the goods. So as per the rule of personal account, credit the giver. Shivani is the giver of the goods. So Shivani's account will be credited. Okay. Last entry, paid rupees 2400 for life insurance premium. Students, make it clear, if the word life insurance premium comes, then it will be always considered as the personal expense of the owner of the business, and it will be considered as drawings for the firm. Okay, so always the word drawings will be utilized over here, not life insurance premium. Okay, so you will write the entry, that is drawings account debit to cash account credit, that is rupees 2500. It means for life insurance premium 2500 amount has been paid from the business. Whenever the word life insurance premium comes, you have to use the word drawings, because ultimately it is for the life of the owner of the business, and we have already discussed that owner and the business both are separate entity, both are separate identity. So whatever the transactions of personal done by the businessman or the owner, that are to be considered as drawings. Okay, so here the last entry, that is drawings account debit 2500 to cash account credit, that is 2500. Now we have to do the total of debit and credit. You can see both the side total that is coming equal, that is 30,500 and 30,500. Okay, so always the total of debit and credit that would come to equal. And so that was the first sum that we have completed. This was the basic sum. Later on, more entries and different types of transactions will be studying in the journal entries. Now we are doing today the last sum, that is sixth sum, that is journal entries in the books of Shubham. That is on the same page, that is page number 102. Transactions for capital and drawings. If you want to refer this type of transaction illustration, then you can refer illustration number 3. It is similar to this question 6 of exercise. Okay, so together with this exercise question number 6, you can refer illustration number 3 also. Write journal entries for the following transactions in the books of Shubham. Okay, so always the heading should be given by the name of the owner, that is journal of Shubham. Okay, and the same format or the same specimen, that is date, particulars, LF number, debit and credit. Okay, now students, make it clear over here, I have not written the narration over here because of lack of space, but for you, whenever you are writing in your notebooks or in examination, narration is compulsory to be written after each and every transaction. If you have written the journal entries correct, but you have not written the narration, then your marks will be cut accordingly. Okay, so mind well, narration is must and is to be written after each and every transaction, after each and every journal entry. Okay, here I have not written, I will orally dictate what should be the narration. Okay, let us read the first transaction. Introduced goods of rupees 10,000, cash rupees 15,000, furniture rupees 5,000, debtors of rupees 10,000 and commenced business. Now over here the owner is not only bringing cash, he is also bringing goods, furniture, that is assets, and debtors from whom we have to receive the money in future. That much amount he is bringing in the form of capital. Okay, so what would be the journal entry in this case? That is stock of goods account debit, that is 10,000. Cash account, how much cash is bringing? Cash account debit, that is 15,000. Furniture is bringing worth rupees 5,000, so furniture account debit, that would be 5,000. Debtors he is bringing, that is debtors account debit, that is 10,000. It means in future this 10,000 that will be utilized for the business, that will be contributed in the business. So here debtors is one kind of contribution to capital. Okay, so debtors account debit, that is 10,000 to capital account credit, that is 40,000. Now how this 40,000 came? That is total of all these 4 debit values. You will be doing 10 plus 15, 25. 25 plus 5, 30, and 30 plus 10, that would come 40. Always the total of debit and credit should be equal. Okay, so again revising this entry, that is he is bringing 4 things in the form of capital, that is goods, cash, furniture, that is assets, and debtors. Okay, so stock of goods account debit, cash account debit, furniture account debit, debtors account debit to capital account credit. Again, I am explaining or revising that always the word debit will be written, DR will be written short form, but CR you don't have to write. As per the format of journal entries, never the word CR is to be written. Okay. So this is the format. Over here you can see 2 I have not written in this line. I have left some space, and then I have written to capital account credit. Okay, so you have to maintain this format. Even though your journal entries are right, but you have not written in the proper format, then also marks can be cut. Okay, so be careful that you are writing in the proper format. Now, after completion of the first entry, over here you can see the dates are also given to you. In the previous sum that we have done, they were given in numbers, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now in this sum the date is particularly given to you, and already we discussed in the characteristics that order of date is maintained in journal entries. Okay, so over here the January 2014, the entire month's transaction are given to you in this sum. Okay, so we have to mention whatever the month and year, that is 2014 and January, and then afterwards you don't need to write the month and year each and every time. Only you can mention the date each and every time. Okay, month and year you can mention in the first transaction only, and then afterwards you have to just mention the consecutive dates, okay, on which the transaction has taken place. Now, after completing of the first transaction, on 12th date, the second transaction took place. Personal motor car sold for rupees 80,000 and introduced rupees 50,000 in business. Motor car has been sold, and from selling of that motor car, 80,000 was received by selling of the motor car. But out of that 80,000, he is contributing, or he is bringing rupees 50,000 in the business. So we are concerned only with the transaction related to business. We are not related to any of his personal transaction. So we will give effect only for rupees 50,000, not for rupees 80,000. Okay. So you can see I have written the next entry, that is cash account debit to capital account credit, because he is bringing rupees 50,000 in cash, not rupees 80,000. Out of 80,000, he is bringing only rupees 50,000 in the business. So we have to give only the effect of whatever amount he is bringing in cash in the business. Okay. So cash comes in, so debit what comes in as per the rule of real account. So cash account debit, that would be 50,000, and capital account will be credited by rupees 50,000. Okay. Second entry, that is on 12th date. Then afterwards 13th date, rupees 1,000 withdrawn from bank for personal use. Here the word clearly it is mentioned that for personal use, and already I have explained you that whenever the word personal use is mentioned, drawings account will be debited. Always drawings will be having a debit balance and capital account will be having a credit balance. Okay, so the 13th date entry I have written, that is drawings account debit to bank account credit, that is rupees 1,000. It is clearly mentioned to you that is withdrawn from bank. It means that much amount of bank balance of in our account that will be reduced. So bank is the giver over here. As per the rule of personal account, credit the giver. So here bank is the giver, because that much amount of bank balance we have withdrawn. So bank balance will be reduced by rupees 1,000. So drawings account debit 1,000 to bank account credit, that is rupees 1,000. Okay. Next 15th date, the transaction is income tax refund of rupees 500 of owner of sole proprietor deposited with bank account of business. Income tax refund. Now if you have paid the income tax in timely basis or before the time, then some kind of refund you might be getting from the government. On that basis, the owner of the business has got 500 rupees income tax refund, and that he has deposited with the bank account of business. Okay, so what will be the journal entry? That is bank account debit, because that much amount of 500 rupees whatever he got for income tax refund, that he has deposited in the bank account of the business. Okay, so bank balance will be increased by rupees 500. So as per the rule of personal account, debit the receiver. Bank is an artificial person and bank is the receiver over here. So debit the receiver. Bank account debit to capital account credit, because ultimately it is invested in the business. That much amount is brought in for the utilization in the business. So ultimately our capital has been raised by rupees 500. So the entry that would be bank account debit 500 to capital account credit, that is rupees 500. At the end of every journal entry you have to write the narration. over here what would be the narration, that is I'll say the narrations after completion of all the journal entries of each and every journal entry, and explain you how to write the narration at the end of the completion of all the entries. Okay, now 15th one, that is complete. Now on 20th date, what is the transaction? That is from business. Goods of rupees 1000 and cash rupees 400 are withdrawn for personal use. It means goods and cash both are withdrawn for personal use. Okay, so what would be the journal entry? Drawings, because it is for personal use, already I have told. So drawings account will be debited by rupees 1400. That is total of both cash and goods. Cash, that is 400, and goods, that is 1000. So 1000 plus 400, so debit, that would be 1400. Okay, so drawings account debit 1400 to purchase account credit, that is 1000. Already I have told you students that whenever the goods goes out in any other way, whether it may be for personal use, whether it may be for advertisement purpose, for donation, for charity, or goods destroyed by fire, then always purchase account will be credited, because that much amount of goods that is utilized for personal purpose of the owner. That's why that much amount of goods will be reduced from the business. So purchase account will always be credited. Okay, so to purchase account credit, that is goods 1000, and to cash account credit, that is rupees 400, because cash goes out, credit what goes out as per the rule of real account. Okay, so drawings account debit 1400 to purchase account credit 1000 to cash account credit, that is rupees 400. Okay, next 21st date, the entry, that is travelling expense of daughter rupees 1500 paid from business. Travelling expense of the daughter, that is 1500 paid from the business. Ultimately this is also a drawings, because for personal use for his daughter he is utilizing the funds of the business. Okay, so the journal entry, that is drawings account debit to cash account credit by rupees 1500 and 1500. This entire sum is related to all the transactions of capital and drawings. So this is particularly the sum related to transactions of capital and drawings. Okay, after completion of 21st entry, then afterwards 28th date. Furniture of rupees 2000 purchased from Ganga Furniture Mart for house. Now over here it is clearly mentioned we have purchased the furniture, but that furniture we have purchased from Ganga Furniture Mart for house purpose, for personal purpose. Okay, so always the word, whenever personal reason we have purchased or sold anything, then word drawings would be recorded over there. Okay, so you can see again I have written over here, that is drawings account debit to Ganga Furniture Mart account credit, that is by rupees 2000. Because if here the word house was not written, then we would have written, that is furniture account debit to Ganga Furniture Mart account credit. But here it is clearly mentioned that whatever the furniture that we have purchased, that is for household use, for household purpose. Okay, so always the word drawings will be utilized in that case. So drawings account debit 2000 to Ganga. We have purchased the good furniture from Ganga Furniture Mart. It is one kind of personal account. As per the rule of personal account, it is an artificial person. So credit the giver. Ganga Furniture Mart has supplied the furniture worth rupees 2000. So credit the giver. So Ganga Furniture Mart account credit by rupees 2000. Last entry, that is on 31st date. Life insurance premium of rupees 500 paid by check. Now over here also you can see we have written one entry, that is of life insurance premium. Here it was not mentioned that it is paid by check, but here it is clearly mentioned that it is paid by check. So drawings account debit to bank account credit, because it is paid by check, so that much amount of bank balance will be reduced, for which we are paying the life insurance premium. So the journal entry, that is drawings account debit 500 rupees to bank account credit, that is rupees 500. Okay, because that much amount of bank balance will be reduced, and it is life insurance premium. If the word life insurance premium comes, then it is always drawings account will be debited. Okay, so that's the end of the sum. You can see the total of both the side, that is coming equal, that is 96,900, 96,900. Now I'll be explaining you how to write the narration in each and every entry. Now in the first entry, the owner has brought the stock of goods, cash, furniture, debtors, etc. And commenced the business. You have to write the narration bracket, that is being the business started by bringing goods, cash, furniture and debtors in the business. Okay, in your own words also you can write. It is not necessary that whatever I am speaking that only has to be written in the narration. You can write in your own words. Always it should be started with the word being. Okay, next transaction that was of 12th date, that is cash was brought in the business. So you have to just write that is being cash worth rupees 50,000 brought in business. You don't need to write that motor car was sold and from that 50,000 was brought in the business. You have to write the narration in very short sentence. Okay. Next 13th date, that is withdrawn from bank for personal use. Being cash withdrawn from bank for personal use. Okay. Then afterwards 15th date transaction, that is income tax refund of owner of sole proprietor deposited with bank account of business. Okay, being income tax refund deposited in bank account in case of 15th transaction, being income tax refund deposited in bank account. Okay, in one line only your narration should be written. Next one, 20th date, that is from business, goods of rupees 1000 and cash 400 are withdrawn for personal use. You have to write in the narration being goods and cash withdrawn for personal use. You do not need to mention the amount in narration because that amount we are already denoting in the debit column and credit column. Then afterwards 21st transaction, that is travelling expense of 1500 of daughter paid from business. So you have to write in the narration being travelling expense of daughter paid by business, paid from business. Okay. 28th transaction, that is furniture of 2000 purchased from Ganga Furniture Mart for house. Being furniture purchased for house. In short, you have to write the narration. Last 31st date, life insurance premium paid by check. Being life insurance premium paid by check. Okay, so that would be the last narration that you have to write after each and every transaction. And always don't forget to do the total of debit and credit, and that would always be coming equal. Okay students, so that's the end for today's video lecture. Today we have understood what is the meaning of journal book, what are the characteristics of journal book, what would be the specimen of journal book, and we have understood two practical sums, the fifth sum and the sixth sum that was related to transactions of capital and drawings. In the next video lecture we'll be continuing with a few of the more exercise sums. Till then, keep practicing by revising the video lecture. Goodbye, stay blessed.